Sure. Our final presentation of the day deals with addressing coupon fraud. We have two speakers, Matt Fitzgerald, the Director of Product Offers for OLS Payments, and Eric Williams with the Intelligent Clearing Network. Matt, take it away.
All right, thanks, John. Jumped the gun a little bit. Thanks, everyone, for your time, and we're here to talk through some paper coupon fraud and what we perceive to be the solution to an organic approach on how we get to mobile coupons. I'm Matt Fitzgerald. I'm a director at InComm Payments. A division with InComm in particular is called OLS Payments, and that's where I reside. I am in Minneapolis. My job at InComm started off in our healthcare division. We have some really cool technology that we use for healthcare. I started at InComm about 3 years ago with the mission essentially that went like this: Matt, we have some awesome healthcare technology. We know we can apply this to other industries. Can you figure out what industries we should apply it to and why, and what some of the use cases are? And so one of the biggest opportunities I found was here in the promotional world, and have really focused on helping solve some of these big problems. And that is in part where I met Eric and ICN. And Eric, if you want to introduce yourself.
Sure. Thanks very much, Matt. This is Eric Williams, obviously, and I have looked at a few of the names on here, so a few people do know me. I was the Chief Technology Officer for Catalina Marketing for about 20 years and retired a few years ago, but I stay very active in the industry, and specifically I'm on the board for Intelligent Clearing Network. And I'll give a little background on Intelligent Clearing in a few slides from now. But it's great to be here and appreciate the opportunity, John, to be able to present to the group.
So I thought I'd start off by just giving an overview of who InComm is. Most people know InComm from gift cards. That is our primary business and kind of where InComm got started. So if you go to a big box retailer like a Walmart and you go to what is sometimes branded a gift card mall where you can buy gift cards like Cheesecake Factory and things like that, that's InComm who does that. That's what we're best known for. Really, InComm is a larger company, is heavily involved in all types of different fintech types of products. We do over $50 billion a year in annual transaction volume. We have over 3,000 employees. We are worldwide and have been around for about 30 years. What it really makes us unique in this industry is the integrations we have with retail POS systems. So we are integrated with over 500,000 points of retail distribution. And so that's a bit about InComm. And then OLS, the brand that you see in the bottom right, that is that's a division within InComm that really focuses on those POS integrations and doing some really cool and unique use cases with retailers.
Fantastic. Thanks, Matt. And I will do the same for Intelligent Clearing Network, or ICN as it's known in the industry. ICN's been around since 2008, and interestingly enough, I knew the two founders of the entity because they are actually development engineers that were involved with the development of another product that many people on this call probably recognize called Retail Marketing Services. And RMS did the original loyalty programs that were operational in many of the retail stores. And so Rich Thibodeau and several of his partners put together ICN to try to go after some of the complications with handling promotions. That has continued to expand, and as you see on the chart in front of you, they've expanded that in a number of components, specifically against coupon fraud and validational pieces, both on both paper and digital and print at home. Lastly, they're able to do the load to cards, so the whole concept of all promotions can be handled through the solution that ICN offers. It is a cloud-based technology. They have been doing this, again, as I said, for a number of years, and have processed, as you see, a tremendous quantity of transactions and coupons. And again, I'll get into a little more detail of some of the benefits that they've seen off of it. They're also very proud that they have 4 issued patents on the concept of electronic clearing and validation services, so adds to its capability in the market. Matt, I'll turn it back to you.
Great. So what I thought we'd start off with is a topic and start talking through how do we stop fraud, in particular paper coupon fraud, and then enable mobile national distributed coupons. So what do I mean by nationally distributed coupons? I'm talking about these paper coupons. So coupons that are distributed by manufacturers to their consumers, which can be redeemed in any retailer who accepts them. And so these are all paper coupons today. There is no digital representation of this that is distributed by manufacturers. Interestingly enough, this fascinated me, but 96% or more of all coupons distributed today are still paper coupons. I think that's a staggering statistic that the industry is still so reliant on paper. But it makes sense because there really is no digital equivalent to what I have on the screen. And so we're kind of going to talk through why that is and what I believe is 3 easy steps on how we get there organically. This is just some background information on how this industry works. I call it the coupon supply chain. And by the way, I use a lot of my examples are General Mills and Target, not because any of my examples are real, but because I'm based in Minneapolis and that's where they're headquartered. So if I use examples of General Mills and Target, just know that those are just examples. They're not actually real. So within this supply chain, let's say General Mills wants to issue a $1 off Cheerios coupon. Very rarely are they issuing that coupon directly to consumers. They're typically going through marketing agencies or distribution partners, right? And it's those agencies and distribution partners who have email lists or websites or newspapers or mailings that go out to reach the consumer with that $1 off Cheerios coupon. Customer has a $1 off Cheerios coupon. They buy a whole bunch of products, let's say at Target. They present their paper coupon. The retailer scans, everything they're trying to buy and then scans the coupon. I call that coupon scan process more of like a scan and pray process because there's no external validation that that coupon is real, that it hasn't been used, that it's not counterfeit. It's just everything that goes on happens just right within the 4 walls of the retailer. Okay, and then the retailer, when the coupon is scanned and complete, the paper coupon is collected, and it is typically sent to the retailer's clearinghouse. Now, this clearinghouse process could be done by the retailer, but most large retailers will hire a clearinghouse. This job is essentially, you need to sort out, here are all my General Mills coupons, here's my P&G coupons, and so on, and General Mills owes me this much, P&G owes me this much, right? So the paper coupons are sent to the retailer clearinghouse, they do the sorting and invoicing, and then they would send it back to General Mills. Only General Mills doesn't want to deal with their own paper either, right? So they hire their own clearinghouse as well, and so the CPG's clearinghouse is sorting, okay, here's all of the money that CVS is asking for versus Walgreens versus Walmart. And that's the whole clearing process. And this process takes 4 to 6 weeks typically. This is where fraud checking is occurring. So counterfeit checking occurs right here. And so during this process, a retailer will, when they send the coupons in, they're expecting to be reimbursed 100%. They're never reimbursed 100%. There are various reasons where a CPG will not reimburse a retailer. And one of the large reasons is due to counterfeits and fraud being found during this clearing process. So the retailers will get reimbursed for the coupon value, less any chargebacks. And this is how the process works today. So we have a question that we'd like to ask just to get to know our audience a little better. So if you could respond to this, that'd be great. We're curious if you're a brand, a retailer, a marketing provider, or other. This will help us a little bit cater to how we talk about things. And so we'll let this tally a bit and appreciate your responses. A lot of others, it looks like we needed some more categories here. So I'm not sure if you guys can see the results, but I threw them on the screen for you. So we've got a few brands, no retailers, a lot of marketing providers, and a lot of other. And this is probably pretty common to what I would have expected. A lot of the challenge with this industry is getting the retailer involvement. And I know Eric will talk through some of the challenges to, why these problems haven't been solved already. And within InComm, our relationships are with the retailers. And so, that's a value that I think that we can help provide to this industry, is that retailer engagement. The next slide. Creating a fake coupon is easy. Okay, so these paper coupons, they're created with a barcode. They're 70 digits. They all start with 8110, these barcodes do. So you might have heard the phrase an 8110 coupon. That's just referring to these paper coupons because they all start with 8110. Here's the deal. All of the information a retailer needs to process this coupon is embedded within this barcode. So this barcode will tell the retailer, oh, here's $1 off. This is for General Mills. This is for this group of products, right? So Cheerios products, which is also called a family code in here. So all of the rules that a POS system needs to process the barcode is right here, right? So a retailer POS system doesn't need to go external to say, hey, what is this thing? Should I accept it or not? Everything is done right here. Now, that creates a huge issue with the ability to create fakes. I just typed into Google, how to create 8110 coupon barcode. And Google doesn't even make me go to a website. They give me the shorthand answer. And so what you can do is simply Google how to create one of these. You can just create a fake 8110 barcode that gives you a free $1,000 TV and go into a retailer and redeem it, and the thing will work. I mean, there's no validation that the thing that you just made up and created is fake. Now, hopefully, retailer POS systems have been configured to call a manager over if a coupon worth more than $5 is valid or not. So there are some checks, but you get my point. There's no external validation at all, and that creates a lot of openings for fraud. So who's liable for the fraud? Is it the manufacturer or is it the retailer? It's a good question, and I hear different answers from different people. So I really think the answer is it depends on who the retailer is and who the manufacturer is. But here is essentially the scenario, right? A retailer accepts a fake coupon. It's counterfeit, or it's expired, or for one reason or another they shouldn't have accepted the coupon, but they did. The customer got their $2 off, right? So there's a loss of $2. Okay, the retailer goes to the manufacturer to reimburse it. Now the manufacturer is going to look at that and say, hey, I'm not paying you back the $2, right? So they'll issue that as a charge back to the retailer. Now some retailers, have to take it, and some retailers will choose to fight back and say, well, all the Cheerios we bought from you, General Mills, well, we're going to pay you for everything less the $2, right, as a way to recoup our $2. So a retailer tries to get back at the manufacturer by deducting that off of their invoices. And then I've heard that manufacturers sometimes then counter that by deducting the money off of trade funds. And so it's just this vicious cycle that goes back and forth on who's liable. But here's the thing, regardless of who's liable, it's a problem that all of us should be engaged to help solve. Even if you're not liable, you should help solve it, because the reality is nobody wins with coupon fraud, nobody. And so we're kind of all in this together. We should all try to help fight this together and solve this together. Another question, does your company track coupon fraud or chargebacks? Yes, it's a big deal. Yes, but it's not a very big deal. No, or I don't know. And if you're a provider, then potentially the companies you work with is the way to answer this is, do they care or not? I will show some results here, which is actually a very good thing. So most of you are responding with, it is a big deal, or I don't know, or no, but thus far nobody has responded with, you do track it and it's not a big deal. So that's great. I think I'm preaching to the choir here a little bit on the problem and the need to solve the problem, which is, hey, it's a big deal, and it's actually kind of crazy that it hasn't been solved yet. So thanks for your participation in that. And then the next question is, is your company actively trying to solve for coupon fraud and/or electronic clearing? And what I mean by electronic clearing is that those paper coupons that retailers collect, they have to ship those to their clearinghouses. They can't just throw them away. It can't be done electronically. I think that's kind of nutty that we're still moving paper around to do some reimbursement. So is this something that your company is trying to solve for or looking for a solve? Go ahead and show you the results. Okay, so most of you are yeses with a few no's and a few I don't know. So I'm really hoping that with this partnership between InComm and ICN, we can help the industry move move forward in this direction for everyone. Okay, the next slide is how do we solve coupon fraud? So here's really the answer, and there's some solutions out there, right? Besides InComm and ICN, there's some other solutions. They all have one thing in common, and that is a real-time integration with the store's POS system. Any sort of solution that that anyone has come up with, and I see that in some of the comments and questions, someone has talked about positive offer files and things like that. Same deal, right? It's a real-time authentication and validation of a coupon at POS. That's how to solve this thing. When a coupon gets scanned, it has to reach out to determine, is this thing authentic or not, right? Is it counterfeit or not? If we want to introduce serialization into this solution, which I think everyone wants to do, we have to have that real-time external call, right? That can't be done just on a batch file into a store. In real time, you got to ping a centralized repository and say, hey, here's a serial number, has the thing been used? And so all answers to this problem, they point back to, they don't point necessarily to InComm or to ICN or to P&G or the Coupon Bureau. They point back to real-time integration. That's how it's done. And that's the magic behind everybody's solution, right, is get that real-time authentication and we can solve this, okay? And so, Eric, let me take this slide.
Yeah, let me add to that. And so, yeah, I've noticed a couple of the comments and questions. We are not, ICN and InComm are trying to provide a solution in the market that addresses this coupon fraud, as Matt is outlining, by giving that connection, because one of the hardest parts is putting that connection into the point of sale. And yes, there are other entities out there. I'm thrilled that some of my friends at Inmar have offered a new product out in the market trying to use their solution to do this. I know that Bud with the CIC group has now built a little app that you can run on your phone. Again, anything that the industry can do to make that happen is good for all of us, as Matt was saying. But with that, Matt, I need the next slide. Oh, there you go, thank you. So one of the things I wanted to be able to provide is some insights of what happens when you actually integrate this type of solution in the market. As most of you on the call know, most retailers are quite hesitant in using their names, so I apologize that I can't give you specific names of these two entities, but I can tell you what happened. So the one on the left is a regional grocer, which is doing, of course, 8110 processing. They saw a dramatic drop, as you see, over $17 in paper fraud per store per month was happening. And as soon as the solution went in, the instantaneous drop that occurred in that particular business. We've done the same thing with a large big box retailer, nationwide organization. Their cost, because of the size of the stores and the volumes that they have, is over $512 per store per month that they were losing. That got reduced down by 98%, all by simply doing real-time validation to make that happen. The challenge with real-time validation that's been around in the past has been that you had to load files into your point-of-sale system. That requires a lot of controls and processes to occur. By doing this in the cloud, it's a simple connection from the point-of-sale, and using InComm's real-time connection to all of their major retailers gives ICN the opportunity to turn this on very rapidly across the United States. Matt, I'll turn this back to you.
All right. So Yeah, within InComm, I'm just going to head back to the slide. This red integration with the retailers, that's what we have, right? We have it through gift cards, and then we have it through the division that I came from, which is our healthcare entity. But that integration we have from them, if you think about how just the fundamentals of a gift card, right? A retailer scans a gift card and they ping InComm and they say, hey, is this thing valid? How much is on here? And things like that. You think about how that authentication of a gift card process works and what's needed for a coupon. You scan a coupon. Hey, is this thing real? Should I accept it? You can see the similarities of what's needed for the coupon industry versus what we already have in place with the retailers. And so that piece of technology there is really, and that integration is really being used. And when I met Eric and Rich and the ICN team, I quickly understood, hey, you guys have a solution, but your problem is getting into retailers. Well, we have a connection into retailers, but we don't have a solution. So that's really where we partnered up together and to deliver this value.
Yeah, Matt, we had a question that just came in, Matt.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Matt. We had a question that just came in. Is there technology today that addresses or stops coupon stacking?
Yes,
happy to
Eric.
take that. And the answer is yes. There is technology out there that can address that. In fact, the ICN solution is one that provides that functionality. The key to it, though, is to make sure that you are providing centralized services to be able to validate all of the coupons, irrespective, because the problem with stacking that typically when people think of stacking, it is the consumer came in with a paper coupon and also had a coupon for the same product that was either a load to card offer because the retailer offers a loyalty program, or it's a printed home coupon. So in other words, the consumer is getting multiple discounts. So you have to have, again, a real-time functionality to be able to know that this item has already had a coupon redeemed against it, and therefore the point of sale should not allow another one to be used. That is a very challenging position to put to the POS systems, and that's why hooking it up to an external system like ICN to control that in real time is the only way to really meet the needs of the industry.
Okay, another question that I'm not sure I understand, but perhaps you do. Are you validating this new offering of gift cards used as coupons?
So I'll take this one. Interestingly enough, that was really step one of what we did at InComm with the healthcare technology. So the healthcare technology that I'm referring to is essentially, it's restricting what you can do with a prepaid card. So what I mean by that is within healthcare, we can put, let's say, $50 onto a prepaid card. But what's different with our card versus like a credit card or a gift card is that we get basket data and when our cards are scanned, and therefore we can restrict it to certain items. So in the healthcare industry, what this means is, hey, Medicaid or Medicare user, here's $50 a month that's going to be loaded onto your card, but you can only buy healthy items with it, or you can only buy over-the-counter types of products with it. Hence, the name of the network that we created is called the OTC network. And so the OTC network is that healthcare technology that we're leveraging for this. Now, when we move this from healthcare over to the promotional tools, one of our first projects was with P&G, but what it was, hey, let's put $5 on this prepaid card, but let's restrict it to only be able to purchase certain UPCs. And so we've essentially created what I have called a CPG gift card, right? So here's $5 where you can only buy Cheerios, or something like that. So that's really how the technology started. So in terms of, how SKUX is doing things with gift cards, I won't comment on how they're doing things, but in terms of a different technology that InComm has, we call it an offer payment, which is essentially a gift card in which we're able to restrict down to UPC. So that was the start of the technology, and you can imagine with that technology where, hey, one of these cards gets scanned, the store sends it to InComm and says, hey, someone just scanned your card, here's what they're trying to buy, what do you want to pay for? lot of similarities there with what ICN needs to do paper coupon validation and authentication.
Okay, another question on stacking, Matt. Is using an Ibotta or Fetch rewards still considered stacking by brands?
That's an interesting
Eric,
question. I don't know that I can answer that. Matt, I don't know that you might. They are completely independent of each other. I'm sure a brand person who is not very happy that a customer gets a discount on Ibotta and a discount through a promotion. But being that those two are completely independent and Fetch Rewards and Ibotta both are using receipt scanning, it's a little challenging to know that the customer is also getting a discount off the same item unless the point of sale receipt provides that information. Great question. I don't know though.
Okay,
I don't know either. If they're doing receipt scanning, then theoretically you should be able to spot the discount. But yeah, I don't know either.
Okay, final stacking question. How do you avoid stacking where retail systems can't talk between coupons and gift cards?
So in our integration with our retailers, we get notified if any item has already had a discount applied. And so with our item, so a gift card is a payment, right? It's not a coupon. And so when you think about how this works at the retailer setting, you scan all your items, then you scan your coupons, you get your retailer loyalty discounts, and then you pay. With the question earlier, which I think this is alluding to the gift card promotional capability that we offer, that comes through as payment. So we're after all of that. And so if an item has already been discounted and we set up our promotion to not allow for stacking, then we'll consider that item as already been used and cannot be used in the qualifier. I think, Eric, with the integration between InComm and ICN, it's a little similar. Of course, the 8110 paper coupons are going to be applied pre-tender, but that integration between InComm and the store will essentially be the same. So we should be okay if stacking in terms of the stacking rules.
Exactly, Matt. Yeah, we'd be able to accommodate that and know that the offer was done, that there was a discount already applied to that particular item through a promotion, either being paper or digital.
Okay, we have a few more questions, but we'll save them to the end. We don't want to ruin the flow of your presentation here, so why don't you continue, Matt?
Yeah, I read James's question. We've got a good slide to answer his question here coming up shortly.
Okay.
So then the question is, why are there no nationally distributed mobile coupons, right? I mean, my iPhone unfortunately tells me how many hours a day I sit and stare at this thing, right? Which I'm sure like you guys, you just think, oh my gosh, I can't believe I look at my iPhone that much. And there's no ability to deliver a coupon to it today, right? It's nuts. And so why is that? And really the answer comes down to there is processing that occurs in the clearinghouses, right? And manufacturers require paper. So a retailer cannot scan from a mobile phone because they're not going to be reimbursed for it. Manufacturers require that piece of paper in order to reimburse the retailers. Therefore, retailers won't scan from a mobile. And we can talk about 60 different reasons why this is, but this is what it really all comes down to, is if a manufacturer requires a piece of paper, then the retailer is not going to scan from the mobile phone. So you kind of get into, okay, well, why does that manufacturer require the piece of paper? Well, things are going on in the clearinghouse, right, post-transaction. And so in order to remove the requirement for paper, we have to replace some of those processes that are occurring in the clearinghouse, and we have to replace them digitally. And that's a bit what we're doing here with ICN. We're going to replace some of that stuff, and we're going to do it in real time at the register. Namely, we're going to check for fraud at the register when it should be being checked for, right? We're going to spot the counterfeits. We're going to validate the basket. We're going to validate the serial codes right there at the register. And that's where it should be done. And so the more we can process electronically during the transaction, the less of a need there is for a piece of paper to go somewhere for a manufacturer to feel comfortable with approving electronic clearing. So the reality is that it's funny. The brands are the ones who want mobile coupons more than anything, but it's the brand's own rules that that they won't reimburse electronically that kind of prevents this happen. So it's almost a circular problem, right? And so we're trying to address that problem by saying, brands, we feel we know what you need the retailers to be able to do to say, hey, we'll electronically clear paper. And that's really what we're putting in place. And so I lay out just a 3-step path. It's just, to me, it's very simple, and I know this is oversimplifying it, and there's a lot of details under here. But what it comes down to is that step 1 is that we need to shift fraud protection to occur upstream. We need to start processing these coupons in real time at the register, not 3 weeks later in a clearinghouse when it's too late to block a coupon anyways, right? So we got to shift some of this processing, shift the fraud protection to occur during the transaction. When that happens, we need manufacturers to agree that they no longer require paper and that they will accept electronic clearing of paper coupons. When that happens, retailers can start comfortably scanning from mobile phones knowing that they're going to be reimbursed. So this is a very simplified but organic approach on how do we get there organically to start doing mobile coupon scanning. And these are, in my humble opinion, this is a very simplified way to look at it of how we get there. And I think it's very achievable.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Matt. And there's a couple of questions that are being asked about, is this would the universal mobile coupon be pushed by retailers because of their existing loyalty programs? That's a great question. I know that several very strong retailers in the market don't want a national offer out there. They want everything linked to their loyalty program. However, they also realize that a large quantity of their consumers are not participating in their loyalty program and or are new to the area and haven't signed up for it yet. So how do I go about getting them? Probably some of the other things that have happened on this slide, it's, again, everybody, a number of the comments that are being made are people that have lived in this industry like I have for 35 years and know these kind of challenges. And it's like, why haven't we fixed it? Well, I would argue there's a couple of things that have changed that are allowing this to now occur. First off, the standardized barcode of the 8110. Think about it, that up until about 3 years ago, all the coupons didn't require that extended barcode and could be used on a system code 5, as they're called. So it was a big issue. The amount of changes that had to be done to the point of sale system were huge. Up until, again, 8-10 years ago, only large retailers had high-speed networks to their stores. That's all changed. Now, there is still a challenge on doing a mobile coupon, and that is the phone. Most large grocers don't have handheld scanners, and it is very challenging, if not impossible, to get a phone to be scanned by what's called a slot scanner or a flatbed scanner in the check stand. First off, you'd have to ask the consumer for their phone, scan that across. Retailers don't want to do that because they're concerned, A, with any kind of hermetic virus issues or other things like we're seeing today. But secondarily, what happens if the cashier drops your phone? Are you responsible for it? So there is quite a challenge on that. Those things are now beginning to change, and it's allowing us to begin to do some things. But as Matt laid out, the first steps of that process has to be to ensure the integrity and accuracy of all of the existing offers before you can try to move new ones, because, again, as Matt presented earlier, it's so easy to generate a barcode and make up your own coupon.
Yeah, before we I guess I'll hit the conclusion, and then we can go to some of the Q&As. Martin, I read yours, and James, that we can address. So here's the conclusion: is that the current coupon redemption process, I think we're all on the same page. It's very archaic, and it's leaving the retailers and manufacturers at odds with each other due to fraud risk, lost revenue. As someone in the Q&A pointed out, paper coupon distribution or redemption is declining. My perception is of course it is. I mean, we're stuck with a piece of paper in an archaic process, right? I think that if if the paper coupon industry if it was really 2021 technology, I think we would see an uptick in usage. But with a piece of paper, I mean, the younger generation, do they even have printers at home? I don't even know if they do, right? So it surprises me zero that we're seeing paper coupon distribution declining and due to it. So there is this vicious cycle, right? So manufacturers don't reimburse for electronic coupons, and therefore retailers don't accept them. So who's first? And I think this is where InComm and ICN, as well as some people have pointed out, Inmar has come out with a solution too. I think we're all stepping up and saying, hey, we'll raise our hand and try to help solve this at the retailer point, and that should open the door for all of this to happen. So that's really what it is. And then, of course, our partnership with ICN ideally will solve the problems, right? It will eliminate fraud. Enable electronic clearing of paper coupons. That's the ideal step 2 of what this will enable. And then step 3 should be the next step, which is mobile coupons. So that is the slides that we had. Oh, no, sorry, we have one more slide.
Yep.
How can you help?
Sure, and plus people in the audience can reach out to Matt and Eric. You can see their email address on the screen there. And we can go to some questions right now. Some of them were answered already along the way, but here's one that perhaps was not. Can you comment on the positive pay file used by P&G and Nestle?
I could comment on a positive offer file in general. In terms of the specifics of P&G and Nestle, I don't know details of that, but I can tell you what the InComm ICN solution is doing with the positive offer file. So ICN, I'm going to get this right because I know Rich Thibodeau, one of the founders, is listening, and he'll want me to use the correct term. ICN created a process that they call a National Coupon Real-Time Alert System. So what it is ICN has both a positive offer file and a negative offer file, right? And so how this works is when a coupon is scanned at the register, it's sent to InComm, we route it to ICN. ICN is going to first look this up on the positive offer file. If it's there, cool, it's not counterfeit. If it's not there, better check the negative offer file. The negative offer file that ICN has is a curation of many different negative offer files, including the CICs and their own proprietary one. Right? So first check the positive offer file. If it's not there, then check the negative offer file. If it's not there, then the reality is we don't know whether the coupon is real or fake, right? But we know this in real time. This does, we don't have to wait 6 weeks to find that out. We know it in real time. So what we're going to do is we will send back an approval to the retailer. And we send back the approval because you never, ever want to tell a customer that they just scanned a counterfeit coupon if a CPG just forgot to add something to the positive offer file, right? So we'll go ahead and push and accept so that that coupon will be accepted the first time. And immediately ICN is going to email the manufacturer and say, hey, we just had a coupon scanned. Is this thing real or fake? And in real time, we can add it to one of the lists. And so that's what we mean by a real-time coupon alert system that we have put in place with this process. And so there is a positive offer file involved in this, and we do things a little bit different. I think, hopefully better in real time in terms of, specifically how that relates to P&G and Nestle. I'm not sure.
Okay. Will mobile coupons either eliminate or reduce coupon fraud?
No. I mean, the answer to reducing coupon fraud is not mobile. In fact, the answer, I go back to this slide, the answer is a real-time authentication. If you start doing mobile coupons without incorporating the authentication, in my opinion, you just created one more way for fraud to occur. Right now, fraud can occur by printing fraud. If you start accepting mobile, now it's easier to create a fraudulent coupon. So the answer to stopping fraud isn't mobile. That sequence is out of order. the sequence is you stop fraud through a real-time integration, and when you stop fraud, then you can start looking at mobile.
That's exactly right, Matt. In fact, there was an article, I'll give a plug, John, fortunately from another industry rag, Coupons in the News, had a piece out just yesterday, the day before, of a lady that took a large retailer for close to $200,000 using a mobile fake coupon. So it's relatively easy because, again, as Matt showed, you can manufacture your own barcode. And so now you put it on a phone, and how is the store supposed to know that they're not supposed to, that that's a good coupon or not? So to Matt's point, unless you fix the fraud problem, you cannot go and address mobile. I know the industry is trying to move forward with a specialized number so that it will be validated in the cloud. But how do you stop somebody from putting as we've talked about it, called an 8110, put a paper number schema on the phone barcode that you hand to the cashier to have scanned? The scanner doesn't know that it's an 8110 and not an 8112 as the industry knows it. You've got a huge problem. So again, just to reiterate Matt's point, you got to fix the fraud of all of the existing products before you start offering new products in the market.
Okay, another question. Is complete manufacturer participation in a positive offer file required to enable e-clearing of paper coupons?
No.
No.
No, and here's why. Is complete participation in a positive offer file isn't required to clear paper coupons. So why make that requirement for digital? Here's where the positive offer file is going to help. If you have full participation, you can get fraud rates down to 0, right? Theoretically, you can do that. So it's very beneficial to do that. It doesn't exist today, which is why we have fraud. But we're doing paper clearing today with fraud without a positive offer file. And so the positive offer file, I do, in absolutely no way do I think that is some requirement for electronic clearing because it's not a requirement for paper clearing. I do think that everyone should be participating in positive offer file because that's what's going to get our fraud rates down to 0, right? So
exactly.
Yeah, that would be my thought.
Yeah, and just to add to that, the more the brands participate in the offer file programs, then the better off the industry is going to be. And I know a couple of questions were asked about, what about these other entities that are out in the market like Inmar's product and others? I think it's wonderful. ICN is not going to be the only solution out there. It can't be, because there are retailers that may decide to do something similar to us on their own. The people may decide to participate with Inmar and what they're doing. We think that's great. The faster the industry moves to a real-time validational component and authentication, the next move quickly can be electronic clearing. There is no reason a piece of paper needs to be sent to another country in most cases to be counted, validated, scanned, everything else when you've lost the transaction. It makes no sense. I can take my phone out today, most of you on this call probably have, and scan a check and put it in my bank account, but yet I can't take a 50-cent piece of paper for a coupon, and I still have to have that manually counted.
Well said, Eric.
Yeah. To elaborate on the Inmar's electronic clearing. Inmar has. I'll break apart what Inmar has into two different things related to this. They announced a very similar time frame as our announcement with ICN. Inmar announced an authentication and validation system they call Confirm that is attempting to essentially stop fraud of paper coupons at the register. We're all on the same. Us and Inmar, we are on the same page. That needs to happen, and that's what Eric was saying. Whether you're using Inmar or using ICN, we're solving the same problem. The second part is the clearing process, which is, if we're doing electronic clearing, is moving the funds between a CPG and a retailer, and that's something Inmar does. That's not moving funds between CPGs and retailers is not something InComm does. So we don't play in that space. So the space that InComm is playing in as it relates to this is really on that authentication and validation component, not on the clearing side.
Okay, great. I guess we can.
So so if we went into a retailer who's using Inmar for clearing, InComm, ICN, and Inmar, all three would play nice together. There.
Okay, and playing nice together is a good way to end this presentation. Every solution has some positive to it. I want to thank both of you for an excellent presentation. I can tell you that your presentation generated more questions from the audience than our 3 previous presentations combined. So congratulations. It speaks to the importance of the topic and the quality of the presentation. So thank you. Again, the contact information for Matt and Eric is on the screen in case you want to reach out to them directly. There it is. So thank you both again.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much. We appreciate the opportunity.